Since our founding in 1850, the world has faced many challenges and, in the process, changed many times over. Through it all, world wars, economic uncertainties, civil unrest, and global pandemics, the University of Utah has not only survived, but thrived. We have succeeded and continue to grow as a national leader in education and research because we give our students and faculty opportunities to imagine more together. We have stood up to the challenges of the past, embraced those in the present, and looked forward to helping shape the future because we don't put limits on imagination. On this Giving Day, help us continue to thrive and succeed by delivering a transformational education to our students, inspiring art and performances through our cultural venues, unrivaled medical care to our patients and community, and research and innovation that continues to change the world. Join us as we imagine more together.
The Basic Needs Collective centers student support and access through a network of university professionals and community organizations. We provide student resources, education, and funding that are integral to their student success beyond graduation. Our enrichment fund allows us to provide students with housing, books, childcare, buying medication, and food. During this year, we have witnessed increased need and have coordinated assisting students in as little as an hour depending on the situation. No student should ever feel alone during their educational journey. Your support can help us continue our holistic approach to student support and development. On this Giving Day, help us imagine more as we enrich the lives of our future leaders.
This Giving Day, help us imagine more together.
Formally introduce myself, my name is Yos. I am a junior studying geological engineering, and I'm from Texas, although I spent a lot of time in Nigeria. I want to kind of give you an opportunity to introduce yourself. You can do this well, yeah.
Okay. So my name is Kim Hall, and I am the Associate Director in Student Development and Inclusion. I have recently spent the last 18 years as Associate Director for the Women's Resource Center. And now I'm doing strictly just development for SDI. Originally, I'm from Kentucky. I've been out in Utah for the last 40 years.
Oh, man. What are we looking at? I don't think I know anything about Kentucky. So like, what are we looking at when it comes to like Utah versus Kentucky?
Well, I think that we can safely say that we're far more enthusiastic partiers. We're noted for our bourbon. We're noted for our bourbon and our horse racing and our basketball and just sort of a general festive feeling. And the Kentucky Derby and certainly, yeah. So we're kind of like, we're sort of like the little party central in that area of the country, Yos.
That makes a lot of sense. Like, I think if you had asked me what three things that I knew about Kentucky, I've heard of the Kentucky Derby. I've heard of, I barely watch basketball, but I've heard of, University of Kentucky basketball. And then I would just say Kentucky Fried Chicken, but I think I heard somewhere that I started in Utah. So I'm super confused about that. But yeah, that's kind of fun to hear about Kentucky. It's one of those I just haven't done too much, heard much about. But okay, kind of get into, why we're here today. Thank you so much for introducing yourself. So Basic Needs Center. For me, I'm just recently hearing about it actually. The name kind of tells us, what its purpose is, but yeah, just kind of want to go in. So, what is it?
Okay. So Yos, during my years at the Women's Resource Center, we did a lot of student assistance, not just for young women and not just parenting students, but we worked a lot with adult learners, veterans, first generation students, students of color, immigrant, refugee students. We worked with the whole population of students that are considered more marginalized students at the university.
Yeah.
And from that, because those students came in with they came in, like the veterans came in with a whole life that they had lived before they got here. The parenting students came in with responsibilities or children. And oftentimes the immigrant and the refugee kids came in with a really heightened sense of responsibility for their families. So these were not just sort of what we might consider a student at a university. They were actually older students or students that were living kind of complex lives with lots of responsibilities. Yeah. And in that process, they actually educated us as to what they needed. The way that it started off with, we started out with our emergency funds. And through our emergency funds, we would award students, anywhere on average $400 to negotiate a car repair or a medical bill or a child care or textbooks, just things that they could not plan on. It was genuinely an emergency that they needed to have this amount of money to continue on at the university. So as that went on, the students continued to inform us and educate us about other challenges they were having. And so then we started to see more and more homeless students, students who had, for whatever reason, were unable to find housing, whether they were, they didn't have the money to get into housing, or sometimes students would put all their financial aid into their bank. And then we've had parents go in and take it out. So they couldn't, and there was just some kids, LGBT kids were coming out to their family and the families were throwing them out. And so it's kind of like we pulled the homeless string and out came all this domestic violence as well. And intimate partner violence and domestic violence is really closely associated with homelessness. So every time we tried to address a need, Yos, more needs came out. Yeah. And so at that point, it's been about, I guess, 2 years ago in April, it's like, you know what, we can't continue to piecemeal this. We have to have a basic needs center where students can come and access resources both on campus and in the community that will allow them to negotiate whatever it is that they're dealing with in a timely fashion and in a respectful fashion, and address their needs in such a way that they can persist and graduate from the University of Utah. And so that's how it all came into being. And it's been really, I think the thing with COVID is, the things that we've been talking about for a long time, such as food scarcity issues, homelessness, difficulty with addressing medical needs, basically the internet or the digital divide. All these things have really shown themselves to be true. Yeah. For all those folks who didn't see it to begin with. So it's been this interesting sort of coming together of what we needed to do and now what we are going to be able to do, because I think there's a better understanding, not only in the community, but on the campus community, that a lot of students are just struggling. And like a lot of Americans, there's nothing, they're all, so it's been kind of an interesting coming together of folks, and everyone that's involved with it is really, really into it. And so that's been kind of cool to have everyone come in, problem solve, offer resources, want to work directly with students. There's just a lot of passion for this particular project.
Yeah, man, that's amazing to me. When I first got here at the U, I had, you know, it was only $3,000. I wasn't sure if I was gonna have a spring semester or second semester in my you know, my freshman year. And
Yeah.
what helped me out was finding people within the U, students that knew of resources, right? And helping out with those things, I was able to find resources. So now it comes to, you know, the students. There's, I can 100% guarantee you, we all know that there are students struggling on campus, but they've never, you know, they don't know about the basic needs center yet. So if, you know, if I'm a student and I need help with this, how can I actually access, you know, the basic needs center? Where am I going to see this? You know, where do I need to go to
So
find this?
here's what's happening now, Yos. We we've fundraised most all of our money. And right now, we are building out an actual space, like a brick and mortar, old school, real-time space down in the basement of the Union, right next to the food pantry. So there's that particular space is being built out. Additionally, while that's happening and just giving the pandemic, we are also putting together virtual office hours. And we're going to start out from like 10 to 2 and Monday through Friday. And there'll be offices there to address certain needs. So for example, on a Tuesday, I don't know if this is actually true, but on a Tuesday, you could have a representative from financial aid and a representative from the Financial Wellness Center there at our homes with our little knock on our door virtual office. And students will be able to go online to the virtual office and then knock on the door and be able to communicate with someone representing those offices. The cool thing about it is that once we know, let's say that you came to us and you were first semester freshman coming from Texas, having difficulty negotiating the university. Not really, it's huge, so you can't, something exists somewhere, but you don't know where it is. So then we would be able to come bring you in and just say, okay, now we're your touchstone. Let's figure out all the things that you need to address right now, Yos. Do you really completely understand your FAFSA? Because so oftentimes students don't understand what it even means. So we can go back and do some re-education around what those loans mean. And then we can send you over to, I can say, but I want you to talk with Ann House in Financial Wellness. So then we could knock on her door, and I would have been taking notes. And I would send you over to her office and she'd just be able to open up her notes and be able to say, oh, okay, I guess let's just go back and look at your FAFSA and let's strategize how we can, utilize the resources available to you in a really efficient way. So we'll be able to function sort of as a normal office in the sense that you can be handed off pretty readily, and we'll all be in the virtual office. When we have our brick and mortar real-time office, we'll just be able to walk students over to representatives. So that's going to be kind of the cool thing. We're right now setting up a virtual office, and we're doing that over the holidays, and we hope to have that up and running probably in the middle of January. So we'll do a kind of a big rollout where we ideally have, notices at the U, and then we can let academic affairs know that that's coming out, and they can, send their students, when they're going over their syllabus or whatever, they can let students know. Ideally, hopefully, when we're in some kind of normalcy and we're up and running really efficiently, we can just send that out to academic affairs. And they can, professors can just put that information on the syllabus, But sometimes we run into these things where, let's say, let's just use you, for example. Let's say that you got here and you didn't, you were having difficulty. You didn't realize that you had to buy $400 of textbooks.
Yeah.
Because who knows that, right? So we would be able to send you over to apply for emergency funding to address that. We would be able to help you out, figure out some sort of loan system. Maybe, you know, at the WRC, we would just ask students to go to the bookstore, rent the books they need. We would just go ahead and pay for it. The students would get the books and then they would return them. Yeah. So there's all kinds, and students always say, sometimes they'll say, oh, they get embarrassed because for some reason they didn't know what to do or they didn't anticipate it. And they forget that they're people who don't know how to negotiate a system. So there's no need, it's not a character flaw that they don't know how to negotiate our system. A lot of people are just so unwieldy. And so I always like to explain to students that there's no reason you would have known this, you know? And the other part, these resources exist on campus for students. Students pay their fees. These offices, these resources, they're not free. You know, students are paying for these resources. And we're just trying to allow students to access the resources that they're already paying for in a more streamlined way.
Perfect. I was gonna say you kind of hit my next question. You know, when is it slated to open? You said middle of January.
We hope, yeah, that's what we're shooting for. We're doing all of our trainings right now. Okay. So we're all on the same page, and I'm sure there's going to be hiccups, and I'm sure there's going to be issues. But I'm the kind of person, like, I would rather just open it up and start problem solving as it happens, rather than try to make it perfect.
As long as you're already there, you know, to help. That's perfect. So I want to ask. I can speak for my generation, and I have a little brother who's a freshman right now, me being a junior. I'm a little in touch with their struggles, and in our generations, it's a lot harder for us to look for things, reach out, and try to find help, right? Part of it is maybe a little bit of pride, like, you know, a lot of us are being pushed to say, hey, you know, I can handle this by myself, or, you know, it's just the climate today. People are kind of trying to take things on their own. I can definitely vouch for that. That's a guy I was not really looking for a helping hand, or not feeling the urge to go look for a helping hand, just kind of living through life myself. And so, you know, that's a lot of your audience, right? This is going out to the students, and I believe January, February, when we have Giving Day. Is there a way, you know, for all these students that are going to definitely need this help, but they're not really going to feel the need to do all this research and find the Basics Needs Center? Is that something you guys are ready for, and, you know, just ready to, like, continue to say, like, hey, you know, I know you saw those 3 emails about the Basics Needs Center in like a week. You know, you haven't, you know, there's people out there in need. You guys need to come out here. Is there a way for you guys to just kind of draw out a lot of us who are just kind of shy, and, you know, we don't feel like we want to ask for help, because maybe, you know, just people feel, there's all sorts of different reasons. How are we going to combat that?
Well, you know, I got to tell you, because I'm sort of like, I'm older, and so, and I've raised children. So I tried, I'm kind of old school this way. It's like, if you want one, be one. And by that, I mean, if you want to be of service and you want to really kind of, I don't even want to say humble yourself, just reach out.
It's really what we got to do. We have to self-reflect, for sure.
And just know that, you know, it's kind of like, I know this thing, and I think young men have, I think young men have a little difficulty with it as well. I think there is a little bit of a gender issue there. And, you know, and I just like, but I'm the kind of person, like I've had students come in and just tell me their story, you know, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is interesting.
Oh yeah, Basic Needs Center. Yeah.
And try to, I'm really big on everyone knowing how to work systems. And I feel like whether you're in a workplace and things aren't going well, you need to know how to work that system to get your needs addressed. If you're in a class that's not going well, you need to know how to ask questions and ask for help. And the Basic Needs Center is no different. It's kind of like this campus is so scattered everywhere that you could have an issue in the Union Building, and by the time you got up to Upper Campus, you kind of forgot what your issue was.
Yeah.
You know.
I thank God for that on that 25-minute walk. A couple other issues have already popped up.
Exactly.
So, definitely vouch for that. Oh my God.
But what I really hope is that as students come to us and they're dealing with whoever's involved with this Basic Needs Center, they want to be there. You know what I'm saying? It's like they want to be involved. They've made it their business to be involved. And there's I'm hoping that every student that comes through will start to build a relationship with people in these offices, that it feels sincere. It feels like we're here to work with you all and for you all. Students forget that we exist because of them. And student affairs is everybody says, what does student affairs do? And I'd say, you know what, whenever the other 23 hours of the day, when that student's not in your class, we take care of all that. We take care of everything. So, you know, what I'm really hoping to do is just create a culture and a feel and a vibe that, you know, I got an issue, I'm going to the Basic Needs Center to just get it sorted out right from the get-go. And I tell my students, it's like, hey, don't call me when the kitchen's burning down. Call me when you smell smoke.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, a lot of.
It's
I
easier
put up a lot of kitchens. Burning kitchens. Man.
And I'm really hoping, you know, I'm just really hoping that students can see that when we reach out and we ask for help, we become more compassionate ourselves, and we're more willing to be of assistance to other people. And I just want to start to create this loop of helping and advocacy and, you know, allowing and supporting students to become really all that they can be in the time that we had them on campus. And I really believe that. I really believe in the power of education to lift people and families to a better place in their lives. I'm really that true believer in the power of education. I'm a first-generation student. I grew up in a very poor area of the country in Appalachia. So I really believe in the power of education, and I believe in the power of reaching out to ask for help. Yeah. Because you get it, and then it reinforces that you can ask for help and then you can be of help. Yeah. And that's my thing.
Man, I really appreciate, you know, this thing, because I really think, you know, just from being able to talk to you, Basic Needs Center, right? This is something a lot of people are actually lacking, these basic needs. It's all in the name. And I really think this is going to be a pillar for that, you know what I'm saying? People realizing from the culture that's going to be started at the Basic Needs Center, hey, we need to think and say, hey, you know, we actually need help, right? And that's 100% true. If you're you know, down and you're fighting all these things that are coming down on you, you don't even have the time to help someone else, right? You almost think it's a foreign idea to even think of helping someone else. And I definitely see that, you know what I'm saying? So I'm really grateful I was able to meet you and talk to you about this, and, you know, get to know, okay, hey, this is a Basic Needs Center, and there's people in there, you as well, that are committed to changing the culture that we have going on right now, especially in these times reaching out and helping each other regardless of whatever it is that might be in the way. None of it matters. We're all in this together, and we have to push, and we have to help each other overcome our struggles, whatever they are, even if that takes a little bit of self-reflection. Yeah, that's great. That's all I got. I can't wait to, be able to check this out and share this with other people. Let them know, hey, Basic Needs Center is here, and they're here for us.
Thank you, and don't hesitate to reach out to me if you need anything, as well as your little brother.
Yeah.
Those little freshmen, man, they don't even.
Especially in this COVID era, and
it's been really hard for students. Yeah. So, are you living on campus, Jos?
I am not. I am not. I am actually living with a couple of guys in my church. So this is kind of a great thing. They're humble enough to say, hey, because I can't pay rent. I'm dealing with tuition. So they actually were able to say, hey, we see your need, and I'll live here rent free, and they're just taking care of me. They have no problem with it, right? Because they have their own convictions about helping others. And so that's my situation. I used to live in Sandy, and I had a 20-minute walk, and I had to take the bus an hour up to campus. And I mean, it sucked. If I had class at 8:35,
yep,
I had to be out of the house by 7:12, no later than that. Otherwise, I'm running after the bus at this point. And
you were a bus runner.
I was that kid for 2 years. For my first 2 years, it was a very rough 2 years, especially in the snow. Guy from Texas.
Yeah.
So I'm very grateful for where I am. Living on campus would be amazing. Just being able to get up, go to class, get back, to somewhere that's home. And I'm grateful. This is right next to campus. It works out. But yeah, I'm definitely grateful. Some of those same core values apply. If you need help, reach out for help. And I wasn't that guy that was doing that until I gained some convictions on that.
This is so funny. See, we were talking, and I'm already up in your business. I'm thinking you should.
You see it. You see it right here, guys. Kim Hall is here for you in the Basic Needs Center. You see it already.
Because I'm thinking you would be a great resident advisor. If you could,
I actually almost applied.
Dude, you should apply. Let me know if you do. I'll reach out, let them know that you're my guy.
Sounds good. I almost applied, and I was like, I actually have this job. I don't know if you've heard of Education at Work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where I am, and see, there was a couple of us over there like, hey, we should be RAs. It'd be great to live on campus, and yeah. I mean, I don't even know when the next application's open. That would be great.
It should be opening up pretty soon. Go over to their website. I just talked with their guy, Todd Justison, who's pretty amazing, and he was saying, they're earning their money just because housing is so structured right now, But maybe next fall. Maybe
Sounds
next
good.
fall.
That would be great. That would be a big help. Because yeah.
You can see where I go. You can see how I am. I'm like,
I see it.
Let's get you on campus, man.
Let's do it. I'm grateful to have someone like you on campus, going after all these kids, going through it. I appreciate you.
Oh, yeah, they'll tell you talk to them. They're like, oh yeah, she's like gum on your shoe once you get on. So that's what we're doing. And let me know if there's anything, reach out if there's anything I can do or anything else you need to know, or don't be a stranger.
Yeah, I'll definitely be in touch, and I'll definitely be out there and be an ambassador for this Basic Needs Center. Be your hand extending out to my little corners everywhere on campus, and just
let them know. We'll have our virtual office up, and I'll let Hannah know, and then Hannah can reach out to you. I may actually have your email address, so I'll see if I can make that work.
Okay, let me send that in the chat. I'm so dependent on this Utah email now. Like everything goes there.
Yeah, you can't make a move without that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like it's my personal email at this point. I know I probably won't have it after this, but
Yeah,
yeah.
I got you down, so I'm gonna keep you on my radar, man. You just let me know if there's anything I can do.
Thank you so much.
So, and thank you. I really appreciate and what you're doing. And yeah, I'll just be here should you need me.
Sounds good. Thank you. I'll definitely reach out.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a good one.
Okay, you too.